Good morning. I'm going to start this morning by actually reading yesterday's message from Mike Dooley, which is Tut's message of the day. It only comes out Monday through Friday, so there's not a new one for today. But this was for yesterday. Remember, you once told me, Ron, that if ever all of the circumstances in your life were aligned just so, your soon-to-be friends were all in the right places at all the right times, and the financial markets, social climate, and global energies had all reached optimal points, you'd want to be gently nudged as a subtle sign that it was time to start doing new things, saying new things, and visualizing so that you might catch these gargantuan waves of change and surf to dazzling new heights. Today's the day. Hang 10, the universe. That's message for yesterday. Today's, well, no, even, yeah, I'll do the title first. Today's title is 2012, Truth Cannot Be Stricken from the Record. And my blurb, yes, I was in court yesterday. Some would call it a kangaroo court. Others described it as being railroaded. The entire hearing took about as much time as one of my daily videos. Many issues were not allowed to be addressed. The only opposing attorney present claimed to know nothing about producing her oath of office and bond. The judge did not answer my question. What kind of court is this, a court of law or an equity court? He signed an order to the clerk to issue title to my property to PNC Bank and to strike my affidavit from the record. Oops! He has no authority to do that. Last night, I attended the Spiritual Enlightenment group, as has been a custom for a long time on Friday nights. And we had a group called Laughology, or a video that we watched called Laughology. And I have never been in any group where we laughed as much as we did last night. And even though I didn't share this in the group last night, I did think of it last night, because once upon a time I got a message, one of those mountaintop experiences for me where the light in my room in the middle of the night was as bright as the day, and out of the light 3 words came to me that changed my life at that point, that made a very big impact at that point. Now, I'm not saying I heard the words audibly. I felt the words. Life, love, and laughter. Last night I got the opportunity to see the importance of the laughter part. I didn't do a search for it yet because I was tired when I got home, and after I caught up my emails I went to bed, although I didn't fall asleep for over an hour. But in any case, laughter is powerful, a powerful method of change. And when I can do a search for that, I hope it's online somewhere. I hope it's available online, because I really recommend people learning the importance of laughter. Now you say, Ron, how can you be talking about laughter when when the court just allowed them once again to take your home? It stopped them temporarily after the auction back in February, and you got your hearing. Well, did I really? And now they're able to take your home again. Well, the judge did plainly say that I had 30 days to appeal. And indeed, there will be some kind of an appeal. I mean, part of me is very weary and would like to just quit and fight them after the fact, and not be put on these timetables of having to do things in a certain level of time. But anyway, even after the thing, and I had 3 observers there in the judge's chamber with the court stenographer, 3 bailiffs, the judge, and 1 attorney. The judge, I had his oath of office, and he said he was operating under it, but obviously he didn't. He denied my rights. He doesn't understand, he probably does, but he doesn't care, that you can't deny a person's rights. That's against the law. And it doesn't matter what law he's using a lesser law than the higher law here in the United States, which is the Constitution that he swore to uphold and defend. Now, when I asked the attorney for her oath of office, she says, I don't know what you're talking about. But in any case, you heard the result. And when I got home, I went out with my 3 friends and bought them lunch, and we talked about what had happened. And they gave me some feedback because I didn't press the judge when he answered my question with, well, this is the 18th Judicial Circuit Court. That's a corporation. The order was issued against me, a corporation, Ronald Van Dyke, all in capital letters. He was issuing it to my dead man, to my legal fiction, to the part of me that doesn't really exist. Does he see me as dead? I didn't ask that question. I should have. There was lots of things I wanted to cover, lots of things I wanted to ask. We didn't even touch on my land patent. We didn't even touch on my acknowledgement of deed. We didn't even touch on why they can't take my home. We did touch a little bit about the homestead thing, but he overrode that, even though by Florida law, there's no way that he can take my homestead. There's no way that he can issue an order lawfully in Florida, under Florida law, as it exists right now on the books. There's no way he can take my home, yet he did. Or at least he signed an order allowing it to be done again. But when I got home, the phone started ringing. I first made a phone call to one friend. I ended up talking I probably had 7 to 10 phone calls in the afternoon, and I didn't get my nap at all. And so I was amazed that I didn't fall asleep last night, but the day was playing in my mind again. Maybe you don't have that happen to you, but it happens to me sometimes. Used to be that when I'd hit the pillow, I was out within 5 minutes. I mean, it's a rare thing, but sometimes things are on my mind and I can't let go. And that was the case last night. I was up twice. After I went to bed, I was up twice before I finally was able to fall asleep. And it was probably midnight before I actually did fall asleep, which is crazy, but be that as it may, that's what it was. And I'm still awake this morning between just past 3:30, just like clockwork. So one of the calls was from the governor of the republic here. He wanted to know how I made out, and he called me back a short time later after we talked, and he said that he had placed a call to a meeting of the judicial branch that was going on somewhere in the United States yesterday, and they ended up contacting me, and they're going. It's the ecclesiastical court and others that are associated with righting some of the injustices that are happening in this country, especially with the taking of people's homes through foreclosure. But again, I never had a mortgage, and there was never a foreclosure hearing. So they have my process, my due process, which is my right guaranteed under the Constitution, which the judge has an oath of office sworn to uphold, was denied once again. They've all along been denying due process of law. Because when you're in the court, what I'm learning is, what I've seen over and over again, is when you talk about law, you mean one thing. And when they talk about the law, they mean something totally different. The law is whatever they say it is. It doesn't matter even if there are things within their law that they're breaking. The law is in the moment, and he's protecting. When I said you are under oath to protect my rights, and he says, doesn't the attorney's client have rights also? And I said, of course. And then I thought later on, my goodness, her client is a bank. It's a corporation. It's not a human being. And no, it doesn't have rights. Corporations are dead. They don't have rights. That's why he issued the order to me. He issued it on a dead person, someone he sees as not even being alive. I am dead. Ronald Van Dyke, all in uppercase. That means I am dead. The order was placed on a dead man by a dead court, the 18th Judicial Circuit Court, which is a corporation, and issued in favor of PNC Bank, which is a dead entity, not a live human being. The dead entities don't have rights. I want you to understand that. That's how they see the law. When that judge was issuing that ruling, when that attorney says, I don't know what you're talking about, they were talking about the fact that they are not seeing the law as human beings. They are seeing the law as corporate interests. And that's the law that they uphold. It was interesting in the judge, I actually had the judge's oath of office that I obtained before going into the court, although he is required to produce it to me on demand by the law, and so is the attorney by the law, but they don't do that. And I don't think he would have done it, but I had it. But they added something to the oath. It's to uphold the Constitution and the government. Now, the adding of "and the government" is not required by law. In fact, it almost nullifies the previous thing, because the government is the last thing mentioned, so it becomes the most important thing. If you understand my drift, it's not going back to the prime thing. It goes back to the latest way that we're interpreting this. So we're going to interpret our oath as upholding the government. Well, the government is a criminal corporate organization. Again, the courts are dealing with corporations, which is why there is no justice, because corporations have no personal responsibility. They have no personal liability. But that's not true in common law. They are all under personal responsibility, and they can't get away from that, because they are living human beings operating in a world of falsehood, a world of illusion, a world of make-believe, a world of deception. That's what the courts are. And Mike Dooley's message seems to not point to that, but the laughter, they're still hanging on. And you got to laugh, because there were so many contradictions, even in such a short time yesterday. And yes, I ran my mouth too much. My friend said, you need to be more observant, because when I asked about non-rebutted affidavits, he says, it's not my job to rebut affidavits. And he's right. A judge is not allowed to rebut affidavits. And the truth of the matter is, neither is an attorney. The only one that can rebut an affidavit is a living person, not a corporate entity. And they're all acting as corporate entities. A corporation cannot rebut an affidavit. But I was told he turned and looked at her, expecting her to answer, and I started talking. And I should have, if I was more cognizant, more aware, and less nervous, I should have jumped on that opportunity just to make her answer the question why there had not been a rebutted affidavit. And I have filed numerous affidavits. How many of my affidavits are they going to strike from the record? I don't know. Lawfully, they cannot strike any of them, because courts are supposed to be dealing with the truth. And how do you establish truth in a court hearing? By affidavit, by actual testimony under oath. And I was also told before going into the court to ask to be put under oath. Well, I didn't do that because the attorney went first, and by the time it was my turn, half of the meeting time was over. It was just before lunch. The judge needs to get out to eat, and so he's not going to allow it to be prolonged. He was patient with me for 5 to 10 minutes, at the very most. And then it was gavel time, and he didn't hit the gavel because it wasn't an actual courtroom. But in any case, he issued the order, and they gave me the piece of paper with the two things, striking the affidavit from the record and issuing the title. And that was it. But my friends in the courts of the Republic are going to be helping me fight this thing. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And I don't know exactly what route we're going to take. There are meetings coming up in the first part of this week ahead, and it will be revealed the plan of action. But this thing ain't over, and it's never over till it's over. Or as Casey Stengel, the former manager of the Yankees, and he was a Mets manager too, I believe. It ain't over till or was it Yogi Berra that said that? It ain't over till the fat lady sings. In any case, it's not over. Because, as I said in the court, I will fight to protect my home. Even though there's a part of me that wants to just acquiesce and just be over with this craziness, this insanity. And I'm sure a lot of you feel that way with things that are going on in the world. We'd like to be finished with the insanity, but we need to laugh more. We really do need to laugh more, because laughter heals like a medicine. And it told of Norman Cousins, how he was sick and dying and given just a short time to live, and he recovered through laughter every day. He went on a laughter regimen, and it healed him. He walked out of his wheelchair, walked out of his hotel room in New York, healed by laughter. And we're going to change the world by laughter. So when you see all this insanity, laugh, because we're waking up and we're recognizing it for what it is. Craziness. Absolute matrix insanity. I leave you with these thoughts, as crazy as they may be, and I thank all of you for being concerned. There were many, many emails, and as I said, phone calls yesterday to check on me and see how I was and see what had happened. I like that. Thank you. Namaste. Blessings to you.